Hello, this is Unknown Void Cat, and welcome back to another Factorio video. Last video, I uncovered a unfortunate calamity that approached my previous world. Unfortunately, a calamity that is called my incompetence happened to befall my last world. You know, that world was doing kind of good. I had green science and everything, but unfortunately, I was stupid and ran a vehicle straight into a insect nest and got absolutely obliterated. And I didn't even have any, like, I don't know, let's say food or anything. I didn't even have like fish or anything, so I could at least heal and maybe escape. I didn't have anything and like that. There's no big forest to escape into either, so I got completely wrecked. So I had to restart, which is super sad because that was literally like videos and videos I spent in the world. You know, that was multiple videos spent in the world trying to get all the way to green science, which is kind of a bigger achievement because, you know, this is a death world. You know, I'm playing on a death world. You see, like the insects don't spawn like this in base game. In fact, this is slightly above a death world. Like, it's a death world, but I slightly put the thing up a bit stronger than a death world's normal setting. So this is like a higher world. So like the fact that I was able to finally get a green science, which I never did before in a death world, finally got a green science, was a huge achievement, especially because I did a lot of green science too. Like, I had most of it done, so losing it was a little sad. But you know, sometimes in life, eggs get destroyed, something, I don't know. Insert a metaphor. You know, things happen. I got owned. And I got owned because I made some mistakes. But you know, we'll overcome those mistakes by making a new world that's even better than the last one. I see that those guys are getting pretty big. I should probably put a turret here. I can't because I have no copper. Never mind. Scratch that idea. But anyways, so I was streaming before this video. I was doing a nice little stream because I realized I need to, you know, do some more YouTube and my Twitch and stuff because I've been kind of slacking, dude. I haven't been doing as much video. Like, I kind of got better. Like, you see, like, I've had like 3 Factorio videos in the last 3 days. You know, I've had a Factorio video each day, but before that, you know, I had like a 3-day break of like no videos. So I was kind of slacking. I wasn't making as much videos as I was planning on. So I'm trying to, you know, like, get back into making videos, you know. And the whole reason for the break wasn't anything like special. It wasn't like, oh, you know, anything happened or anything. No, it's just me being lazy. You know, as it happens, you know, I was procrastinating. I was too busy playing RimWorld. That's the real reason. I was playing RimWorld. I was playing like a really fun modded campaign. And by that I mean I played like 20 modded campaigns because I kept restarting because I tried doing a hard difficulty. Usually I do Strive to Survive, but this time I was trying to do Blood and Dust, and I was getting absolutely wiped. They were owning me so hard. Bro, there's not even like any insects, dude. How are you losing? That's like, I thought it was gonna be like a big horde I'm gonna need a turret for. There's like 4 dudes. But yeah, I was playing on Blood and Dust, and I was trying to do this modded start condition. It's in the Vanilla Plus Imperial mod, there is a start condition where you are like an Imperial noble. You're like a Duke or Duchess or whatever, or something like that, or like a Baron or something. I can't remember. You're like, I think like a Baron. Yeah, Baron, not Duke. You're like a Baron, you start in like this giant mansion, but all your servants are dead. A bunch of deserters have been attacked you, you know, your defenses are down. And it's just, essentially you start as like a big noble, an expensive mansion, but it's pretty messed up and ruined because it got attacked. And there's a bunch of deserters, you know, gunning you down. So essentially you have to like be smart and use your permits to stay alive because, you know, you literally start the game always in your throne room surrounded by, you know, a pretty big amount of insects. I mean, I keep saying insects. I got Factorio in mind now that I'm playing. You start the game surrounded by a bunch of enemies, a bunch of deserters who are immediately there, immediately ready to wipe you out. So you gotta be calling down the Janissaries the minute it starts. And so and so it took me a few runs to realize that, though, because you can't call them when you're down. And you literally have to call them the minute the thing starts. Because what happens is you will often get knocked down within seconds of the start. Because immediately the 2, you know, deserters with their high-powered advanced technology will immediately gun you down. Because you're wearing, like, you ain't wearing armor. You are a baron wearing like a crown and like a little robe, like a little like cape. You are not wearing proper equipment, so they take you down quick. Why is this working? Oh, okay, I know what it's working. I didn't realize the offshore pump got blown up as well. Whoopsie. The offshore pump was also destroyed. No wonder it wasn't working. Now it should be good. And I'm gonna give you some ammo so this doesn't get blown up again. All annoying like. Also, move this stuff around. I want to go ahead and put the repair packs. I'm gonna repair this stuff real quick too. But it took me a few tries to realize I really need to call down Janissaries, so I did. But then I realized, oh no, you can't control Janissaries. So what happens is, even though yeah they'll be able to defeat the enemies, make them run away after the enemies steal a bunch of your stuff, but they'll eventually leave after the Janissaries attack them enough. The problem is, even when they do that, you still have to deal with the very unfortunate situation that even if they're gone, they're still knocking you down, and because you can't control the Janissaries, you can't go to Janissary and be like, hey dude, please pick up my colonist. They're literally bleeding on the ground now. Can you please pick them up and put them in bed and like maybe like patch up their wounds, dude? Like you don't gotta be like a master or anything. Just like I don't know, like just like pat it a little, like make sure they're not bleeding to death, please. But they don't do that because you can't control them. Instead, they just wander around after they defeat the enemies. So what I found out is what you have to do, because your person always gets knocked down. Maybe you've got a person with tough, but I'm pretty sure I had one person with tough before, and even they couldn't get knocked down. Even they weren't able to survive without getting knocked down. So essentially, you're guaranteed to have a person knocked down. So what you need to do, a weird thing that you might not think about immediately, and why the reason why it took me a few tries to even like survive past the starting stage, is you actually need to not only call a Janissary squad, but you also want to call down a labor team. Because what the labor team does is they can't fight. They literally are incapable of violence. The game will not let you use them for stuff. But you can still control them to do like work and stuff. And so what you can do is you summon the Janissaries immediately the minute the game starts. They'll go fight down. They'll go fight the enemies. You'll try to run and immediately get knocked onto the ground and start crawling away. And then right before you got knocked on the ground, though, you also want to summon a little labor team on the outside of the building away from the enemies. And what you do is you wait for the enemies to get distracted shooting at the Janissaries, and then you quickly, you start sitting in your labor team, and you have whatever one spawned new with the best medical. You have him pick you up, bring you all the way to a safe room with a bed, and then start patching you up, while the others try to put out all the fires. And specifically, you want to make sure they like maybe defend like the you want to usually try to like get the royal bed, because you want to make sure the royal bed survives, so that your person is going to be happier and is going to be like, man, my bedroom is not dignified enough. So you want to make sure the royal bed is good, and you also want to make sure, if you can, you would also like to make sure the throne is good, but the throne won't burn. The problem is just hoping your Janissary is protected, because the problem is the AIs will often, the deserters don't just stay around forever until like they until they get killed by the Janissaries. They usually like one deserter will get beaten up and immediately they're all leaving to steal stuff. And since there's so many of them all spread around, a lot of them will just leave without getting attacked by the Janissaries and just leave with a bunch of loot. So you kind of gotta hope that, you know, the starting deserters and the deserters who start in the throne room do not take the throne, the giant meditation throne, the grand meditation throne. And if they don't, just make sure, you know, everything else in the throne room survives. You know, protect the drapes, you know, extinguish it. And then you also want to like maybe protect like the harp and stuff. Now the one sad thing is even if you protect the throne, your person's still gonna be sad, because your person will not have a dignified throne room. Because the thing I found out the hard way, after essentially the first time you do it, you won't be able to have a dignified throne room, because what will happen is your person will be upset because the room isn't all fine floored, because one of the carpets always starts burned. One of the fine carpets are always going to be burned. So your person will be like, it's not fine. And then usually I can't deal with that, because I never have a good person at construction, because My starting character is always good at social because I want a social because, you know, they're going to be my noble lords, so I want them to be good at social. And then the laborers, I just usually don't get lucky enough to have one with like super high construction. So I never have anybody who can repair the fine floors. Especially not carpet, because you don't start with carpet technology, so you definitely couldn't do that. And so usually I can't repair that. But I found out a funny little thing is that only one, as long as you extinguish the fires quick enough, only one of the fires, only one of the carpeted things will actually get burnt. Because it starts burnt, I'm pretty sure. So what you can do, a little cheesy thing you could do in this scenario, is just build a wall on top of it. You just build a single wall on top of it, and so it's no longer considered a part of the room, so that you actually have like a full room of fine tiles. So that I found that after a few restarts, but then I found one more problem is even if you do all of that, it's still not enough because you have to have a harp and a harpsichord and like these blazer whatever these little like dishes of fires are called. I can't remember their name is. I'm kind of blanking out what the name is. Like these things, they're like these like little dishes of fire that like, you know, contain fire that you have to have, whatever they're called. You have to have them. You have to have a harpsichord, and you have to have a harp and some drapes. The little fire things, easy. There's like literally the game starts with 6 in the throne room, and that's too much. You don't even need 6, so you're perfectly fine there. You only need 4, so they're always going to be like 4 surviving unless you really mess up. Like there just isn't enough deserters to take all of them. But the thing that's going to mess you up is not drapes, because there's a lot of drapes, not only in the throne room, but our room. The problem is the harp and the harpsichord. Harp usually survives because it's tiny, it doesn't get attacked and stuff. The problem is the harpsichord. I've never had a run. I played this scenario 10 different times before I eventually gave up on it, because it's just kind of annoying having to repair the Star Mansion. I instead decided to do for like a Rich Explorer start. I think it was funner. Plus, it gives you an extra challenge because I'm not going to start as a royal. Instead, I'm going to start as like somebody who's not a royal and then try to become a royal. So I eventually went for Explorer. But before I did that, and when I still kept trying to do this an Imperial start, I ended up finding out that the harpsichord never survives for some reason, dude. It struggles to survive. It always gets destroyed somehow. And so because of that, you'll never be able to have the throne room be considered dignified, which always causes your person to be like me. It always like they'll keep complaining about the fact that the room isn't dignified enough, which is a little annoying, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me actually, do you want to break the tree? I'll break the trees this way, not the right. I mean, not the left. So usually you can't dignify it. Make the throne room down. The other thing that caused me to restart is so the problem with the laborers is they're cool and all, but one, because they're considered like I'm pretty sure they increase your rage strength because they're technically considered colonists while they're there, which is kind of deadly because, you know, while they are kind of your colonist, like they do work for you, they can't fight, so they kind of won't help you at all with raids. So that's a really deadly thing. And you can't use turrets because unlike the Rich Explorer start, you don't start with turrets at all. So you can get pretty owned by some bad raids, potentially. And the Janissaries are good for the starting thing, but the problem is they have a huge cooldown. You literally have to wait 30 days before you can use them again. So they're not going to really protect you too much. But so that could be a problem. But obviously not as huge of a problem. Until you consider the other problem with it. That is, you also have a lot of gold. You have a lot of gold in because you're a noble's mansion. You start with an entire gold statue, which is massively increasing your wealth of your colony without doing much, because it's literally just a gold statue, dude. It's kind of just sitting there. Like, yeah, it looks pretty, it makes a room pretty, but you can make rooms pretty in other ways. So it's just kind of increasing your wealth of your colony, which is bad because, you know, the wealthier the colony, the bigger the raid. And they're already going to be somewhat bigger because of, you know, you having the extra people. So that can, you know, cause you to be pretty messed up. Especially because a really unfortunate thing that can happen, that can like mess you up even more, is that the laborers, they only stay for a few days. They will eventually leave. They won't stay forever. And so because of that, you can end up getting messed up because they'll leave. Sometimes they'll leave, and then right after they leave, a raid will happen right as they're leaving, or right before they leave, or right after they leave, and that raid will end up still considering the size of like your colony before they left. So you're still getting a way bigger raid that you can't really handle very well, which kind of can mess you up, especially considering all that wealth you have. You guys not powered? Of course you aren't powered because I didn't give you the thing. What is being broken? They survived, it's fine. They survived, it's okay. Why is that? This doesn't need to be double back. What am I doing here? Whoops, whoopsie. I'm being stupid here. I don't know why I was making it like this. For some reason I was trying to double it back just the way how I double that, make furnaces do like a double like loop around thing, but that doesn't need to be done. It's literally another thing. Oh, they are destroying stuff. I didn't see that. I thought they all got blown up by the turrets. I didn't see them because there's only 2 of them right here, so it's hard to see. Hey, stop that. Stop blowing it up. Stop it. Please. Stop it. You're being so mean. They can't even blow it up, dude. I'm just gonna get out of here. What are y'all doing? Man, y'all are annoying. Y'all being annoying there, huh? Trying to cause me problems. And I gotta repair all my stuff here. Okay, can I make some... I need to make a bunch of electric poles. Stop making ammo, I'm good. Make a bunch of electric poles. These stuff need to be reconnected. Okay, it's fine. Oh, actually, no, I need to make conveyor belts as well. Okay, now it's fine. But what was I talking about before? Oh yeah, you end up getting these huge raids which can mess you up. And the other thing that messes you up is also just that one person is not very good by themselves, you know. If your person has a mental break because they're super whiny, because they're a big noble or something, it's kind of hard to deal with that mental break because, you know, you're one person. So your one person will get pretty owned. Because what can sometimes happen is you'll get a mental break right as you have that mental break. Sometimes I've literally had it where my characters had a full catatonic break, and then right after that happens, boom, instantaneously get attacked by a bunch of raiders. They literally burn down the place, break into the little like hospital bed she's sitting at, because because luckily I did have a labor like a little bit before the raid happened, so they put her in a bed, but then they had to leave. And so what ended up happening is like she was just sitting there in a hospital bed like in a catatonic break, and they like busted like, and they like kidnapped her, like it was like, for what? And so that was the end of the run, because like, bro, my one colonist is now gone, because she's just like sitting there completely out of it, like completely like out of it, and they like just got kidnapped. They weren't doing nothing. So I was like, oh, that's annoying. That's a little annoying. And so that happens. Or sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll also be like, oh, your person gets like super sick, and they can't really do too much, and you can't really have much. And there's not really anybody to help them because they're by themselves. Or maybe like you end up overestimating your strength. You know, like a few guinea pigs go manhunt or attack you. You think your person's gonna feed them by themselves. They fail. They get knocked on the ground, and because they're by themselves, you know, there's nobody to help them, so they slowly bleed out from like small little guinea pig cuts, which is like, you know, a pretty sad fate. Not the best way to go, I would say, but it happens. Because while you can potentially get the Man in Black event to like save your people, you know, you get the Man in Black event, they come in, they save your colony, and you know they can save a person from bleeding. For some reason, when I would get that event when I like switched to like when I switched to playing like the Rich Explorers event, Rich Explorer Star, I feel like I got it. But I feel like when I wasn't playing Rich Explorer, I feel like when I was playing regular, when I was not regular, when I was playing this like modded scenario, I feel like I just never got it. I feel like I never got it, and I think the reason why maybe was because those laborers kept appearing, so it kept considering my colony as big. So I guess that might have caused it to like not consider me as like eligible for the Man in Black event or something, or like less eligible, because I never would get him. Like I'd have like one colonist by themselves and knocked down from a bunch of guinea pigs or something, bleeding out, and like nobody comes to save them. I'm just like sitting there like, please, please, somebody, please save my person. They're dying slowly, and nobody comes, and they slowly fade away. The screen fades to black as they slowly die from their guinea pig bites, and then that's the end. And so that's when, that was like a repeat multiple times. It happened to me multiple times until I eventually restarted, and now I'm on my current thing. We're at my watching it. Well, I'm not. Actually, I think I did reach Explorer one time, failed, and then did it a second time, and then that's got me to where I am now, where I'm on like a decent colony. You know, it's not huge. It's kind of just like my person, one other person. There was another person, but they died. Or specifically, I killed them because they weren't very useful anymore. So I was like, I don't need you. So I technically had a call. So, but my person survived. Honestly, my current colony was super close not to surviving though, because the interesting thing that happened is they somehow got organ decay, which I didn't even know was a game. Like when I looked it up, apparently like it's a new thing added in like when the Anomaly DLC came, but I didn't play RimWorld. I didn't play RimWorld that much when the game came out, when the Anomaly DLC came out. Like I got it, but I only really did like a little bit of trying. I never really got that far, and I kind of stopped the game because I started getting like into like Terra Invicta and started playing that game. But now that I've come back, you know, I'm discovering stuff I never knew. Like I never really knew that much about like there's two things from Anomaly that I never really got to see. Is one, the organ decay. I never even knew that was in the game, dude. Like that was about to like mess me up, dude. Because my character, not only did they get organ decay, but they didn't get it in like their kidney or like or lung or something like, like you can lose one of them. Like it's not great, but you know you can lose one. No, they got it in their heart. The thing they definitely cannot just lose. So I literally had to go on a grand journey for them, getting a bunch of voluntary donors to replace their heart. Because the problem is, my other colonist I had at the time, who was like I got from like a Man in Black event, he wasn't as good as medical, because my main medical person was the person with organ decay. They were the person who was supposed to do the doctor. You know, they had like 15 in medical, so it was kind of bad having them get organ decay because they're the one who's supposed to be doing the medical job. So they can't like replace their own heart. You know, how they can't do surgery on their own heart? That'd be crazy. So I was a bit of a pickle where I was like, how will I deal with this? And the solution I came up with is, well, I'll just have to make this other guy better. I'll just have to get somebody else who's good at medical. And so I did that. I literally, one good thing about the organ decay thing, like the one silver lining, is at least it doesn't progress very quick. It gives you a lot of leeway, since you know it's incurable and you have to replace the organ. It gives you a lot of leeway, a lot of time to like replace the organ. Thing is, that ended up kind of not being as the time didn't end up being as good as I thought it'd be, because the problem is, for some reason, I could never get anybody with like 8 medical skill, or not 8 medical skill. I think like 8. Yeah, I think it was 8 or 10 or something. Because the problem with heart surgery, you had to have at least 8 medical skill to even do it. Not be good at it and succeed, just do it. And so I'd constantly search for somebody, because my Man in Black only had 5 medical, not 8. But I could never get it. And so eventually what ended up happening is essentially, I just had to, because my person already had like extreme, it was already like the extreme, and like, no, it was a major and then extreme. I literally had to just settle and be like, well, I'm not going to get a better doctor because there's not enough time. I'm just going to have to hope that I can maybe grind the Man in Black's medical skill to like 8. So that's like at least the bare minimum necessary to succeed. or at least try the surgery. And so what I did is I tried to experiment on prisoners because I had the war crimes mod. So I tried doing on prisoners. But the problem is, the man in black, he wasn't a part of my same ideology. So he didn't have the same, because he didn't have the same ideology as me, he wasn't okay with, taking others' organs. He wasn't okay with people prisoners voluntarily giving organs to him. He, was like, wow, I don't like torturing people like that. And so he get horrendous mood debuffs and like essentially always mental breaking. Also, the prisoner eventually could not handle the practice surgery. So they didn't survive long. And so because of that, I didn't have any prisoners, because for some reason I just stopped getting raids because I was playing like Randy Random. And so instead of getting raids where I could at least get some new prisoners or something to like do practice on, instead my character kept getting gut worms for some reason, which was kind of like, one, it was annoying because like, oh, you have gut worms and now you're gonna constantly be hungry, and they already had fibers, and because not only did they have gut worms, they also had fibrous mechanites as well, which causing pain, gut worms causing pain, and then they have the organ decay, which is also causing pain. So now they're like 60-70% pain, and they're almost at the max threshold before they pass out, and then boom, this meal was improperly cooked. You got food poisoning. Progresses to major food poisoning, got 20% pain, boom, unconscious, couldn't handle it anymore. And so that was like a horrible like chain of events. And no raids, colonists kept getting sick, and because they had like so many different diseases all at the same time, they kept getting absolutely wrecked. But luckily, despite all of that, I was still able to survive because of one good thing. That being, I found a little thing. Even if I don't have people to experiment on, what I could do is, it's gonna sound a little cruel. Remember, it's Rimworld, some crazy stuff happened. What essentially I'd do is I'd get my guy, because he didn't like offering up people, because that upset him, and I didn't have people anyway because I know prisoners. So what I'd do is I'd just send him out to the wild with his shotgun, knock down a deer, patch it back up, knock the deer back down again with a punch, patch it back up, knock it down, and just keep tending to the deer until it dies, and then go to a new one. And because he kept like tending wounds constantly, even though it was like an animal, not human, it kept increasing his medical skill until I finally was able to get him to 8 medical skill. Only problem though with that is 8 medical skill is the minimum for the heart surgery, but it's not good for the heart surgery. Plus, I didn't have a glitter world medicine or anything, so my chances were also a lot lower. In fact, by the 3rd surgery, because yes, I had to do, I think, a total of 4 or 5 heart surgeries because he kept failing. By the 3rd or 4th heart surgery, I had to use herbal medicine, which obviously isn't amazing for this kind of surgery because he just kept failing. He kept failing the surgery. He just would not do it right for some reason. He kept throwing, which wasn't good for me, as I kind of need him to do his job properly. Otherwise, my person was gonna die. In fact, I thought they were gonna die because they got all the way up to 95% before I was finally able to succeed. And the whole reason I succeed, because the problem is they kept failing, and every time he failed, he'd lose a heart. So eventually, I was running out of donors. All the prisoners are gone. The one person who crash landed with paralytic abasia or whatever it's called, who I had as my colonist. I was planning on having joined my colony once it wore off. I had to sacrifice them, and they, even with all of that, still was enough because he kept losing hearts because he kept wasting it. But luckily, the stars shined down upon me, and I got a real lucky thing. And by that I mean a few nice little beggars came in asking for some medicine, and well, you can probably assume what happened to them. Luckily that day, I finally got the heart supplies I needed. In fact, I got 2 because one of them failed again. I once again failed again to get a heart. I kept failing to get those hearts over and over, but eventually, through enough perseverance, after the very last beggar donated the heart, he was finally able to succeed in doing the heart surgery on her, and my main person survived. And the thing is, I couldn't let her die, because essentially the thing is, with my ideology, I had the God Emperor, and so she was like the God Empress. She was the ruler. And so if she dies, that's the end of the playthrough. Not really, because you can keep going. But like for me personally, I can't keep going to playthrough if she's dead. She's like the main. She's the main character, dude. The story can't continue if the main character dies. The only way I would be willing to continue the story if she dies is if she had an heir. You know, she had a kid or something. I could like, oh, you know, she passed on her title to her heir. But if she dies without that, you know, there's no true inheritors of the throne. Even though she's not noble, but if she were, I would say throne. So, if she died, you know, I'd have to restart. But luckily, she did not, because I was able to save her, barely able to save her. It cost so much hearts, but I did. I did, and then to repay the oh so gracious man in black who like saved her, I made sure to pay him very well. And by that I mean I immediately threw him to prison because his stats were trash. The only reason I let him be alive was because I kinda needed him for the sake of, you know, doing surgery on her. But the minute he did the surgery, that was bye to him, dude. I don't need him no more. I'm way better. I had another person who joined my colony for free who could be better. So he got the boot. Can I switch this around actually? I want this to be a different way. Like this. Yes. Because what I'm gonna do, I can put a splitter here. Put a splitter here. Also, go ahead and start making some ammo while I'm waiting. Put a splitter here, and then I can do this. And now it's gonna go at the top. Oh, actually, first let me put a filter on this. Use filter, so that they don't grab the coal, because sometimes that happens. So I need to make sure it doesn't happen. Now you can put the coal in. Okay, now they should be working good. Why is the... Oh, because I messed the thing up. I was about to say, why is the stone on the wrong side? I forgot to move the stuff, right? Put stone back in here. Boom. Okay, now I'm making stone bricks. But that colony survived. That also wasn't the only hardships it had. It actually had a lot. That colony had a lot of hardships. They also got absolutely owned by a fire dude. Like a bunch of some impids attacked me, set some stuff on fire. Because my entire base was made of wood, it kind of half my base burnt down. Like all my storage things burnt down. My house burnt down. My guest house burnt down because I was doing hospitality mod as well. And some of my pen broke down. Some of my giant pig farm, some of it, you know, like some of the wall got broke, so they started escaping. Luckily, the whole wall didn't get broke, so I was able to pretty quickly replace the ranch and like put the pigs back into the pen. But my horse did escape though, which is sad because now I have no horse to ride, to ride across the meadows, the plains, and do trade. So get to settlements quick to trade. But the pigs survived. Though what? I mean, I say survive. A lot of them died because they did get owned by the burns. But enough of them survived that they'll, keep their population steady. Plus, it's kind of okay if a few of them die because the one thing about them is I will say a little too much of them. There's actually a lot of pigs in there. I have a lot. In fact, there's nowhere near enough food for them. They are extremely overfull when it comes to food. Like, it is stuffed to the brim with food, which is a little bad because they often starve. But that's okay because my colony isn't cannibals, so they got a perfect. So the pig farm, well, it's gonna have an alternative food source. Let's just say that. You got the perfect source of food. Oh my god, it's a huge horde. Oh my god, it's huge. Yo, please get rid of these guys. Oh my god, that was a huge attack. Man, good thing I was able to repair that thing, put some ammo in it. Good thing I came in time. You guys get out of here. You're in the way. Get out of here, all of y'all. Destroying all my stuff. How dare y'all. And I gotta replace all these things, which is annoying. Luckily, they didn't break the chest, though, so I can still collect all of these iron plates that's stored up. But what do I have to replace? They broke some power poles, so that has to be remade. And they broke some belts, I think. Yeah. They actually didn't break as much as I thought. I thought they'd break more, honestly. It seems that they actually only broke mostly the conveyor belt and like a turret. They broke surprisingly little, which is really good. Well, there's actually something right here I forgot to repair. That's surprisingly little that they broke, which is really cool. That's really useful because I didn't want to lose all my iron because I really need it. You guys all good? Yep, but I probably should build a few more turrets here, considering how bad that thing was going. But before that, I wanted to finish this. I completely forgot to finish this stuff off. What is there copper here for? Oh my god, is it because that thing is connected to a copper thing? There's like a single copper ore right in the corner, really? There's like literally a single piece of copper. That's annoying. Get out of the way. Why is there copper right there? That was annoying. Go back to your little chest. Okay, you go there. Now I need to finish this area. So what I need to do is go loop. Make some more transfer chests, please. So these will loop around here. They'll go up and then go over. Except what they'll do is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna have a few chests grabbing the stone bricks. You can stop making those now. We don't need it anymore. Actually, we need a lot more surges though. Way more than I have right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chests. Just to make sure they all get picked up, because sometimes they can be not all getting picked up. So I want to make sure for sure. Boom, boom. I usually like to put it up here, but this thing's away, and I could move it, but I don't feel like it. Okay, these also need a service as well. Perfect. Now I'm actually making stone bricks. And with that, that's probably gonna be the end of this video. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and bye.